It's serious. K-Swiss.
You know, there are some great names in the sport of baseball, but on the softball field, there's only one name you need to know. Casey Clutch. Last season, Casey helped lead the Franklin Eagles to the state softball title. This season, the Eagles are ranked #1 in the preseason, and Casey is working hard to make sure they stay that way. Casey Clutch, this week's Game Breaker.
Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, Three-Fingered Mordecai Brown, Dizzy and Daffy Dean, Van Lingo Mungo. Baseball has some great names, and Frankton senior Casey Clutch is bringing that tradition to the sport of softball.
The papers definitely like my last name. They're always like, clutch pitching, clutch hitting. It's great, and I hope they keep having fun with it. Casey up to bat, a lot of people say that too. My cousins got me a shirt that said, Casey up to bat, when I first started.
All kidding aside, Casey was the clutch that put the Frankton Eagles' first softball state championship into gear. In the top of the 8th, Casey's single broke a scoreless drought for the Eagles, sending the winning runs home.
We had 2 people on base. There was like 1 out, I believe. I was up to bat, and the pitcher had pitched me like 2 straight changeups to start off with. They were both strikes, but I didn't want to hit them because I wanted the best pitch I could hit at that point. She came with 2 fastballs out of the zone. She ended up coming back with another changeup, so I had to hit the changeup. I hit it up the middle, scored 2 runs, and we ended up winning the game.
Casey's other role as the Eagles' starting pitcher helped to maintain that scoreless standoff with Morgan Township, setting a state record with 13 strikeouts.
People finally knew who Frankton was. It wasn't like Franklin.
During the summer months, Casey continues to dominate the softball field on a travel team, playing games from coast to coast and adding more accolades to an already long list.
My travel team last year was Indiana Gators. Now we're the Indy Dynasty. It's pretty much the same girls, just a different name. We won state last year, our travel team. We won a couple other national qualifiers.
In order to be as good as Casey is, it takes a lot of practice. Her parents heard the call and converted a barn into a year-round practice facility, complete with weights, batting cage, and a number of pitching backstops, all so Casey could continue to hone her skill.
It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of off-season practice, and that's where you're made at.
You might have guessed that young fellow working with Casey is her dad, John. Although he works with Casey every chance he gets, John Clutch wasn't always keen on the idea of her pitching.
I did some pitching as I was growing up, and it can be a very lonely place out there on the mound. Knowing how much it was mentally and then knowing how much physically that I had as far as elbow problems, I really did try to discourage her in the beginning. But after a while, I learned that softball was a different mechanics, and most pitchers, if they did it right, did not have the problems that I experienced. And at some point, hook, line, and sinker, I was behind her.
As long as you have the right mechanics, a softball pitcher should be able to pitch all day. When I was younger, I pitched pretty much every day. Now I pitch every day still, but if I get Sunday off.
Casey is ranked amongst the top 10 pitchers in the state, with a career total of 631 strikeouts. In the classroom, Casey is a top-notch student and a member of the National Honor Society. All of that adds up to a full-ride scholarship at the University of Evansville next year.
I'm glad that I'm going there. I think it's the right fit for me, and the girls are great too. I'm excited. I mean, all this hard work finally paid off.
Although success is sometimes in a name, it eventually boils down to dedication. And Casey Clutch has both as this week's Game Breaker.
Well, it's hard to believe, but that's all for this season. Thank you so much for joining us every Saturday morning for the best in Central Indiana high school sports. Remember, this off-season, you can stay connected with all the action by logging on to starnews.com. Thanks for watching, everyone, and remember to get out and support your local high school athletes. We'll see you next season.